Hello and welcome to the Voice Spotlight. Um, some of you may not be a stranger to her. Some of you may. She has been to VLF. Um, she is incorporated in her business with Lisa Parker. But then I found out after I formally met her a few weeks back that she is a writer and an author. And I found out the book called The Places Where I Was Put Back Together, which I think is a very unique title. But before we get into the uniqueness of the book, well, let's find out the uniqueness of Miss Cicely Franklin. How are you tonight?
Am amazing. Thank you so much for having me. This is a wonderful experience, and I am so pleased to be here with you tonight.
I feel blessed that you accepted the invitation to come because I know you're busy. I know that for a fact. So,
Yeah, that's
before,
fine.
huh?
I said, yeah, life be life, and
Yeah,
so
that's for sure. And I know that you do things both with Epiphany and then your own things.
yeah.
So, since you are with Epiphany and your own things, let's learn about you. Who
Okay.
is who is and am I pronouncing your first name right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Cicely, like Cicely
Okay.
Tyson.
Cicely Tyson. Okay.
That's exactly
So
what it is.
Cicely Franklin. Who is Cicely Franklin?
Cicely Franklin is um a mom first. Like, I think before I am anything else, I'm probably a mom. I'm
Okay.
a grandmother as well. I have three amazing children, 34, 26, and 23. Have two grandchildren, 14 and 2, both girls.
Okay.
Um, I am very much big on community. I love community. Um, I am a person, a woman who has seen her share of some things, but I use them to help others because I am very much a caregiver. I thrive off of that. I've learned how to create boundaries with that. However, it is very much a big part of me, and I feel like that is God's assignment for me is to be a caregiver, and that's my discipleship. So I feel like that is much of who I am. I'm a happy person. I'm a Gemini all day.
Okay.
I am. I'm a June Gemini. Let me clarify that because it's different kinds. And I know everybody doesn't do zodiac. However, when I did some research and I look at the characteristics, I am very much a Gemini.
Okay.
I very much am. So I am her very unapologetically. I am Cicely.
Okay. All right. So, um, like I said, I like the name of the book, and I know it's going to probably get into some of my questions, but I debated on asking about the name of the books. But let's go there.
Okay.
I was put that together. Can you explain how you came up with the title?
So the original title was not this. The original title was definitely me, unapologetically something. I can't even remember.
Okay.
Came to me like an epiphany.
Okay.
However,
Shameless plug, but go ahead.
shameless plug, but it is one. However, the title really kind of I was teetering with some things, but I honestly had a few things, but I wanted it to speak to restoration and resilience and speak to like the effects that a butterfly goes through. Butterflies are one of my favorite things. So when I was looking at a bunch of different things and I was writing down a bunch of different titles, I had a variation of two different ones, and I combined it two titles together that I was really in love with, and I just kind of worked the words around. But when I sat with it for a minute, I was like, yeah, this is really real. This is really all things unapologetic self-care and restoration.
Okay.
Um, I really wanted it to speak to being broken and put back together and being okay with all of the process.
Okay. So, it's not a thick book. Um, and to be honest with you, I read it in about an hour. Um, but it is a good read. So, and breaking down the book, and what I usually do is I get a book to support, but the book helps me form my questions too. But at the front part of the book is a dedications page.
Mm-hmm.
On the dedication page, there are four separate dedications. Three are aspects of you. And then the fourth one is to your root. Okay, so it's not many times, and I was a reader when I was young. I'm a listener now with Audible,
Mm-hmm.
um, but not often do you find the author dedicating themselves as the person that they're dedicating it to. You don't find that often. To read the book, you will feel because the way you wrote it was full of facts without being full of facts. So, um, so the dedication to you, is that too personal to ask, or
Mm.
let's
I am
how
an open book
okay, so why did you dedicate the book to aspects to you, but in three different aspects of you?
because I'm made up of several different phases and spaces. So when you are being put back together, sometimes there are some missing pieces. Like, if you get a cup and it breaks, but you determined to keep that cup and you get your little crazy glue and you glue it all back together, it be some cracks and holes in there, right?
Right.
You want to really speak to those cracks and holes that still make up this amazing cup because you're going to keep it because you still value the whole entity of what it is, where it came from, how you got it, and why you still have it and why you want it. So, speaking to that part of it all is really important because I can't tell you where I'm going until I tell you where I've been. I can't explain anything about any of that. And I dedicate that to that person because when we grieve, we still grieve about the great times, the great places. So even when it's hard, you got to look back at some of them places that it was crazy, it was happy. But I look at what I came from, pieces of my mom, pieces of my dad. I am them. So all of that is a makeup of who I am. And I had to dedicate it to all of those factors. Because in order for me to tell a story, I got to give you that nugget. And that's where that comes from.
Okay, so the fourth dedication was to the root. Now, further in the book, I see it mentioned again. These are two different roots. Am I correct?
Nope. So the root is my mother.
Okay.
So that came about. And as I tell my mother, because my mother has told people that I have wrote a book about her. And I have to explain to my mother that I did not write a book about you. This book is about me. However, there's no me without you. So she says, well, I'm on the front. I said, you are. Because in order for me to have existed, I needed you. So one time she left me a voicemail message and she said that she said, this is your mom, your root. So I was like, all right.
All right,
And
kind of
I laughed.
stuck.
It's stuck because she is, and she's going to solidify that, and she's going to yell it to the top of the mountains. So I share that because honestly, she is. It starts. I have my own lineage now as a grandparent, as a great aunt, as a mom of adult children. So I'm creating my own lineage, but I have to look at from whence I came. So when I look back over some of the things that I've experienced, I can equate them to some of the great things that she taught me and some of the not so great things she taught me. So it all has a foundation. And when you look at a tree, it has a foundation. Whatever it was rooted in. love, pain, whatever, it's your root and it's helping you to grow. So for me, that's how it is. And I have to speak to that.
Okay. And again, like I say, it's not a hard read, it's a quick read. It's fact-filled without being too let's just leave it at that. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Okay. So,
Oh, good.
um, you state in the book that it's not in chronological order.
It's not.
There is a definite beginning, but I don't think it had a definite ending.
It did not. And I didn't
So,
want it to.
okay. So that question is in what I was getting into. Did you set out to tell a story without going into much detail? Did you set up a framework where you were giving so much without being so, because you are transparent, you are open, but there's something behind it. So did you set out to format the book in that way?
I did. I did that on purpose. So,
Okay.
as I said, my mom said that I wrote a book about her.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wanted to tell my story and kind of some of the things that I've experienced. Now, I always say that my prayer every day is less of me and more of God. That is my prayer every day. So, I believe in discipleship. So, writing this book was very much a self care project. It was journaling done out loud. Um, it came to me in little pockets in the middle of the night, early in the morning. I talked into my phone. I did a lot of different things to get this out. And I wanted to say what I wanted to say, but without saying it. Because I know that some spaces are still not healed. And not so much for myself, but for others. So, in order to tell my story, I have to speak to some things, but I have to do it in a way that it resonates a conversation, it resonates a thought to other people, simply because we all have a story. And sometimes we can't say things, and that's why you come up with the little term, if you know, you know, and what you know doesn't have to be explained and all of that kind of stuff. Because sometimes when you say certain things, it clicks to certain people. Reason
Mm-hmm.
why I said that it would be pieces of this book that you might have to sit with. It'd be some spaces that you might have to sit with because they may speak to some things that you've experienced. However, it's still going to be said. But I said it with a lot of tact. Um, but I said it with very much an unapologetic um way about saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna tell you about me, and I'm gonna tell you how I got to be the places I was, and probably shouldn't have been, but I still want to tell my story. Um, but I wanted to be mindful of some of the individuals that are still present and accounted for
Mm-hmm.
that will read the book and they'll get it, but they'll appreciate how I said what I said.
Mm-hmm. So I interviewed an author a few weeks ago,
Hmm.
um, and she said she was developing a framework for her second book, but she was not so much on the fence, but torn on how she was going to do it because it would have been stepping on someone's toes. So when I realized in what style you were doing it, um, I said she probably could do something similar. I don't know whether she is, and she will probably look at this and then it may help or not help. But I noticed that. I also noticed that um, the book is like you said, it is journaling out loud, but there's some points when it seems like you're having a one-on-one conversation, then there's some points where it sounds like you're having a teaching moment. So I say that to say not a question per se, but that in reading and seeing what was being done, it was enlightening, I guess, in the way that you were putting it. Because
And I
like,
appreciate that. Because I really wanted it to have that kind of thought. I wanted it to reach, I wanted it to reach, and I wanted it to teach. Um, I graduated from Western. Many people from Baltimore, they know that Western is a very amazing all-female public girls' school that has been around for um since
yeah,
1844.
they said, yeah.
Yes, and we're the only all-girl public high school in the nation. Um,
Oh, really?
I didn't appreciate that when I was there, but I thought about what I needed when I was 15, 16, 18, 22. I thought about the person I needed. Um, and thank God he gave me a lot of that in my travels because I'm still standing. However, I wanted it to resonate to some individuals that have some thoughts, don't know how to get it out, want to say some words, but they be like, I don't know if I should say that. You can say it in a way that you still are saying what you mean and you're still being very true and honest to yourself.
Hmm.
You're still being mindful because what they say, when you know better, you do better. For me, at 20 something, I couldn't have did this. I've been wanting to write a book for a long time.
Hmm.
I couldn't have did this in my 30s. I had to be in this space at this time to be able to share, to give, to be able to teach because I am a coach. I'm coaching, but I'm also a lot of times coaching myself.
Right, right, right.
And I coached myself through this book. I would go back, I reread it, I would do this, I would do that. I would go back over it. I would do a couple of things. However, it was like, all right, what we doing? And so I stopped touching it. And I was like, I'm gonna let it just be what it's gonna be. And this is where we're going with this. And I just I cried a lot. I read it. I haven't read it again since I've put it out. I just kept reading the transcript, but I've read it and it was the best thing that I could have ever did. Like it really spoke to my soul. Like I imagine if I was a young girl or my daughters or I was proud of what I did.
Okay, so you're touching on my next question, but I'll ask it anyway because um the places I was put back together, the subtext is a memoir of fracture, faith, and restoration. So by nature, a memoir is something that tells of an emotional experience,
Hmm.
which you've touched on. Um, but it also is meant to heal. You're saying, or you have stated, or yeah, stated, not alluded to, that
Hmm.
it has been its own therapy to you.
Hmm.
But in creating this as therapy to you, was it also in the back of your mind that it could be therapy to someone else, or were you just wanting to get it out there?
Initially, it was for me. Initially, it was me. And I knew that in order for God to bless me with my next, I had to let some stuff go. I had to surrender some stuff that I be holding on to probably for years that you don't realize that you're holding on to this baggage. You never realize it until it's too late. And so for me, realizing that I knew that that's how it all came to be. But as I was going through and as I was like telling the story, it felt so good. And I was like, I want people to laugh. I want people to cry. I want people to talk about it. I want people to have an opinion. I have told everybody who please leave a review because I want you to tell me what you thought because I want you to tell me if you got something out of it. Why? Because just like when you do a survey, it helps someone. So I'm doing the survey. Tell me if you got something out of it and if it meant a little bit to you. And everything doesn't have to resonate the same way. It may be one little part that just kind of, oh my goodness, that was it. Like sometimes you hear that one scripture or that one sermon, you be like, you know what, that was it. That was the one. That was
True.
it. And then you be like, oh, I don't know, such and such ain't do too well, but it was still good. Same thing with this. One chapter might mean more to you than the other one, but it may just feel good all the way through that you get something and you be like, all right, this is good. This is real good. And you want to talk about it to your girlfriends and have a conversation. And that is what I wanted it to do. Have a conversation. Let's bring back having a conversation. Let's bring back book clubs and having these things and having these experiences and being okay to talk about when you're not okay.
Okay, so and you touched on something because I read it.
Hmm.
You wrote it. Um, one question I did not put down that you brought back up to me.
Okay.
Um, but I will touch on the first thing first.
Okay.
So on the front of the book, that is
Hmm.
you and your mom.
That is me and my mom.
Okay. So in the book, there are several pictures. And I think the thing for me is seeing some of those pictures because it made me rethink some things of my youth and certain things were going on at the same time. But you brought a question that I had and I said no, but you brought it
Okay.
back to me. And that question is, like I said, you wrote the book.
Hmm.
Your mom basically put herself there. Um, and it's talking about your experiences, but it's talking about a female experience.
Hmm.
Did you ever give thought that a guy might read it,
Hmm.
like myself?
Hmm.
Um, was anything in there for the male? That
Yeah.
specifically, I'll say specifically. If you did, you include that because I say when a guy reads this, I want him to know that this
Right.
is there. So it's not. It might be swing toward the female experience, but
Mhm.
what would you? Yeah, did you do anything for the guy?
So I wanted it to resonate to anyone and everyone who picked it up, male, female, young adult, whoever picked it up. I wanted it to resonate to anyone. Now, of course, I'm a female telling about my story. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be about me. However, when you talk about persevering and pushing through situations, teenage pregnancy, um, a lot of things when you thought you were failing and you was trying to win and a lot of life things that were happening and you persevering through, that is for anybody. You can change. I mean, you look at when we read the Bible, if the pastor preaches about Ruth, right? You can still relate it to a Boaz. You can still relate it to a John. You can still relate it to a David, even though it's the chapter of Ruth. But those experiences are still equal to anybody who goes through. Right? Coming through and still having faith outside of every challenge when you're young, when you come and trying to get your footing and you trying to figure it out. Where there's a teenage mom, there was a dad.
True.
I can't tell that story. I can only tell my story. But trying to be in that space, it's like, dag, that's what she was thinking. That's how she was feeling. Oh, wow. Not really understanding. But when you hear that story, You got to understand that we are the rib of that man. So when we tell our story, we're telling your story too. We're sharing our experiences so that you can look at us a little differently and be like, dang, I didn't know you were going through that. I didn't know you were still in pain. I didn't know that you were still struggling with this, that, and the third. I have a son. I have these conversations with him because he has a wife. He has a daughter. He has sisters. So these are conversations that he not only he has to understand, but from his mother having the conversations with him about what she's experienced, he can look differently into women that he comes across, maybe a best friend, how to navigate those conversations, or how to ask different questions. We got to talk about these things and have a conversation. But I'm glad that you did ask that because I always feel like a lot of content is canceled out because of who it's coming from.
Hmm. Hmm.
Crazy thing is, I'm really big on men's mental health, like crazy. It's big to me. I stand on it because I came from a dad. I was the only girl for the longest time. I was raised around all the guys. I was the one. My dad used to spar with me. But the thing is that because of the delivery, people are like, oh, that's not for me. But it could be. If you allow yourself to hear it, if you allow yourself to navigate through some pages and be like, just like I'm very big on hip hop. I speak a lot about hip hop in there. It's a lot of
Hmm.
uh, it's a lot of notations to different artists because that's big for me. I
Right.
come from that. Men know. A lot of men are surprised that I know as much as I do, but like I said, I grew up with all the brothers and cousins that kind of weaned me up in that space. So I feel like understanding the loss of a parent is different. Understanding the love between a sister and a brother is different.
Right. Right.
Having the understanding of raising your children and not and being a single parent and being a single mother, yeah, men need to understand what that looks like and know it in a really unapologetic space where it's quiet and they do have the opportunity to ask a question. So it's for anybody, it's for everybody, and it's for a conversation. And just to say, what did you get out of that? Did you get something from it? Could you see yourself in some of those stories?
Okay. So you probably answered a lot of this. Um, and you said that you said it was emotional.
Mhm.
Um, and it brought tears. But I'm sure that it brought a little laughter and fun too. Um, and you've basically answered this, but maybe let's ask the question and then maybe we can get a slightly different answer.
Okay.
So, a lot of books are written. No, I shouldn't say that. Some books are written as therapy to
Hmm.
heal you and hopefully um, be there for someone else, which you've answered. But if I ask the question specifically
Hmm.
of what do you want the reader to take away from this book, what
Whatever
do
they
you say?
need, whatever they need, whatever it is that you need. If you need a hug, it's a hug. I promise you, it's a hug. If you need a laugh, I'm funny. On the low, I'm a comedian. I know I am. I could do a little stand up probably.
Uh,
However,
I got somebody upstairs that think they're funny too, but I'll just leave it at that.
don't say that. But yeah, if you need a laugh, if you need a cry, if you need a hug, if you need confirmation, affirmation, all of that is there. Every last bit of that is there. But one thing that I wanted to always answer to is that you're not by yourself. Um, you are not alone on your ride. And if you need some help, it's okay. to not know what to say, but to know that you can get help. Um, just to know that those things are available and to understand. And for me, it all has to tie into the village. Now, my business is One Village Coaching and Ministries, and everything that I speak to speaks to you establishing a village and knowing that although we may ride our rides differently, our processes and journeys may look crazy to anybody else, but they are ours and we own them. But you have a village, but you never know where your village may be. And getting this book will help you to say, Dag, you know what? I did meet such and such, and they've been in my life for like 20 something years, and I'd have never thought. And they are like this, and you find that it'll make you think that you've already had pieces of your village being formed as you were going through and not really realize it and taking it for granted, but still understanding that you're thriving. And that gives you the opportunity to look back at some things and laugh when you cried in the beginning.
Right, right.
Because you cried at first. You thought that was the worst thing that could have ever happened to you until the next worst thing happened. And then you get through there and you be like, oh my gosh. Those are the things. But in those interims and in those sessions, God kept putting people, because y'all steps are ordered. So our steps are definitely ordered. Understanding that if you stay faithful and you keep believing, even through them trials and them tribulations that we do not ask for, remembering that it's not always our story. It's not always for just our stories, maybe for somebody else. But I give that away because I want it to be whatever it needs to be for someone else.
Okay. So, like I said, it's not a long read. It is informative in a certain kind of way. Um, and it definitely told from your beginnings. Um, but the book did not have a definite ending. Your story is still being written. Is there another story? Is there another book to this, whether it is a part two or it is just another one from the author herself?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's in the works. It's all over the place right now. I'm trying to put it together.
Okay.
Um, but I ended it the way I did because just like when you go through a turmoilous situation,
Hmm.
it's like, okay, say it's a plane. The plane landed. But the flight and the turbulence and all of the things that went into that was a whole situation for itself.
Hmm.
But you still get off the plane. You still go wherever you were trying to get to. So you definitely went through that whole shakeup of everything and you survived. So now you got another story to tell.
Okay.
But you gotta wait because it's coming.
All right. All right. And we'll grant you with that. So, um, we'll end with you were where I was hoping that you were on when we did the spot on Epiphany coaching. I think we didn't get to you in time and such. But it might have been the way it was supposed to be because though you're a part of Epiphany, you have your own. So we can't let you get off of here without even though it's the book. Um, and you've mentioned it. Tell us about your own business.
So actually, the great thing is May the 1st, I have officially become an LLC. So I am now One Village Coaching and Ministries LLC.
Okay.
Ever since I decided I was going to establish some type of business or something, it had a village. I didn't know what it was going to be called, but one day I was sitting in church and my pastor was talking and speaking to balance. And I was like, I need a mental health ministry. I said, and I felt like my coaching and the assignment that God put me on was all about discipleship. We're not good disciples. We are horrible. And that's why we have so much struggling. We have so much of a struggle when it comes to mental health awareness. We don't talk about what we go through. We don't share. When I came up in church, every Sunday, it was some grown people that got up and stood up there for an hour and talked about the testimony, and they shouted and they did all of that and they released all of that. We don't do any of that. Nobody don't talk about it. Everybody is good. They just come to church on Sunday, Tuesday, whenever they come, and they just be walking around, but they don't never say what's happening. Why I ain't seen you this week? Why I ain't seen you in 3 weeks? What's going on? You good? What's up? Because sometimes that kind of thing is not visual. You can't see it because they gonna walk around and be like, hey, how you doing? Hey. But we're not okay. And it's okay to say that. So I wanted a space that was safe. I wanted a holistic space. I wanted it to make sense. I wanted it to speak to everything that I have encompassed in my life. I have a village that is amazing, and it has been pieced together over the years. I have aunties, I have moms, I have big sisters, little sisters. I have a plethora of amazing individuals that God crafted just for me and put them in this little pocket called my life and say, that's your village. That's your tribe. So I want other people to understand that as I coach them and I help them through whatever trials and tribulations that they seem to be going through, or whatever kind of hurdles that they are struggling to get over, to understand that guess what? One of the greatest parts of that is to have a good village. But I'm going to help you so that once you start to heal, you can understand and God will start to place those right people in your village and
Okay.
you'll be able to identify it. So that's what One Village Coaching and Ministries is. It's a discipleship, it's a coaching village for anybody and everybody. I want you to heal. I want you to win. I want you to be successful, whatever your success looks like. Not mine, but yours.
Well, I think that we can end on that note. Well, again, we appreciate you for coming on.
Thank
Like I
you.
say, we missed you during Epiphany, but things happen when they're supposed to. Things happen when they're supposed to. So, and I'm going to also, whenever that second one comes out, let me know so we can do this one time. Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
um, and please, if you have something to share with your own LLC, please let me know that and we can put it out there. I'm sure that Reverend Key is going to see this and she's going to probably be giving you a call, like mine's, like mine's. So,
Absolutely.
and in today's world, yeah, it's needed more than ever. It's needed
I
more than
want I want everyone to know that again, it's okay not to be okay. Um, we walk around such heavy laden, and it's unfortunate because we don't know that we don't have to. But God told us that these not our battles to fight. He said that. He said it. And he also explained to us that he would never leave nor forsake us because all we had to do was trust him and how he has our steps ordered. If we just relax, relate, and release, surrender, things will look so much differently in this world today. But I definitely want to make sure that I speak to my men. I feel like you guys are our undeserved population. It's important to me to reach you simply because if you look at it in Genesis, Eve came from that whole body of the man. That's how she got here. So who better to know you, to help you, to uplift you than us? We're not trying to, and I mean, I can't speak to everybody, but it's all about teaching.
right.
And I want to make sure that we're sharing and we're learning how to have conversations, but safely. So the information that I get from my men, I take it to my ladies and I'll be like, hey, you need to create safer spaces. And that's really important. And I want to make sure that I promote that at all costs because it's important to my heart. I had a dad that was a dad. I'm a big sister. I'm a mom of a son. I don't play that. And I want them to win just like I want us to win. We all need to win. But we have to begin to heal first.
Well, we're going to wish you well on that, and we'll be in touch with you on that because that crosses lines that we already deal with.
Yeah.
And we also, this can be purchased on Amazon. Is there any place else?
Not right now. But right now it'll be on Amazon and I'm working to get it into some libraries and bookstores that y'all know about. So it's coming your way in a couple of months.
And what about an Audible version or
Oh, that's coming
audio
too.
version?
Yeah, that's coming too. I just have to have a moment to do it.
Okay,
In
understood.
a quiet second. So yeah, I just got to find that moment to do it, but that is definitely coming sooner than the other thing. So all of that'll be coming together.
Okay, so hang around. We're going to stop the recording, but I want you to hang around for a few minutes
Okay,
so we can
of
talk
course.
after that. But this is Anthony Spencer for the Voice Spotlight. The places I was put back together available on Amazon. Not a hard read, a quick read, but very thoughtful and insightful. So and it's not expensive. So just go get a copy of it and read it, and then reach out to the author. And if there's something in there that you have question about, I'm sure she has the answers.
And I will be planning a pop-up soon, so that information will be coming to you. You'll be able to announce that as well.
That's great. So again, this is Anthony Spencer and Miss Cicely Franklin for the Voice Spotlight. We thank you for spending some time with us. Thank you and be
Thank
blessed.
you.